Susan Dell are committing to one of the largest private donations in American history, which will directly benefit the next generation of American children through the new Trump Accounts program. He'll feel like Michael Dell someday, but at 18 they'll have a lot of money, a lot more money than they would have had, or potentially a lot of money. But these accounts will track the overall stock market and will be 100% private property controlled by the child's guardians. In honor of America's 250th anniversary, the Dells are announcing today that they are giving 25 million American children $250 each to save and to invest in their personal Trump account. Michael and Sue.
So, what do you think of that?
Man, what a great news. I mean, that is a perfect way for any socialist saying equally distribute the wealth. Give it
Exactly.
to the give it to the people, right? And the thing that I like from Donald Trump is it will be privately managed by the parents, by the guardians of the child, which is amazing. And people need to, stop making excuses now of why they have to pay for child's education post high school. Now they have the opportunity to build the wealth and set up their kids for success once they hit 18 or 19 years old. So this is not a good news. This is amazing news. And hopefully our next generation will be set up for success.
Well, listen, Julio, Michael Dell um, donating over $6 billion
Mm.
to to these what is being called Trump accounts, right? Right away, I'm sure people assume this is political, but here's the truth: Trump didn't create a welfare program. Under this big beautiful bill, he created a wealth engine for American kids. That is huge, like you just said, Julio. These Trump accounts, as we are going to be calling them now, right? These Trump accounts are not campaign fund. They're investments, accounts for children. This is real financial head start, real ownership, real opportunity. We're talking about turning American kids into investors from day one. That's a generational thinking. That's like a power move. That's what like rich people's kids, that's what they do to their own kids. And Donald Trump basically did that. And here's what matters: Michael Dell didn't drop $6 billion by accident. Billionaires, as we know, as everyone keeps saying, they don't just gamble with billions of dollars. Dell looked at this program and said, this works. This is the future. His donation gives millions of kids an extra $250 to start their accounts. And for babies born from 2025 to 2028, the federal deposit is $1,000. That's huge. That is really huge. And what is the left going to say? The left can't say anything. In fact, I can kind of tell you right now that what do you think about the AP? You think they're for Trump? I don't think so. The AP's always been known to kind of hate Donald Trump, and here's the thing: I'm gonna share a video of the AP exactly giving their truth about what's going on. And it's just, to me, it's fascinating that they would even just watch the video. Let's just watch the video, because it's telling.
The billionaires Michael and Susan Dell are giving $6.25 billion to help children invest in the stock market through new Trump accounts. These Trump accounts were created over the summer as part of the tax and spending legislation, often called the One Big Beautiful Bill. The Dells are giving $250 to 25 million children under the age of 11 to put into their accounts and invest in the stock market. This will be the first time that many people are hearing about these Trump accounts. As part of the legislation, the U.S. Treasury will create an investment account for every child under the age of 18 who has a Social Security number. The Treasury will also put $1,000 into the accounts for all children born under Trump's term, so from 2025 to 2028. The money has to be invested in a fund that tracks the stock market, and private companies will actually manage the funds, but those exact companies haven't been announced yet. The Dell's gift will build on the infrastructure of these Trump accounts and will benefit children who aren't getting that $1,000 from the Treasury. When children turn 18, they can then use these funds for their education, to buy a home, or to start a business.
And there we go. The AP does never, from what I've known, the AP's never said anything positive or reported anything positive. And, this isn't free money that disappears. It's investment and index funds, the same tools that wealthy people use for their kids. I mean, this is amazing. This is, like you just said, this is huge, Julio. And we knew about it as far as, how it was going to come because of the big, beautiful bill. And if you follow our channel, we've been actually kind of talking about this. And so when Trump created this structure, he basically opened the door for investors. And Dell just walked through with a check the size of a small country. This is how you close wealth gaps without socialism. Instead of creating government dependency, Trump created a system of ownership, a system that lets wealth grow instead of being handed out and forgotten, And Dell's $6 billion buy-in proves the model works. When major American billionaires put real money behind the idea, it means that idea has power. It means there's confidence in the vision. It means this is leadership that actually helps families. And listen, this is just the beginning. We're watching the early stages of a massive shift in American children getting financial foundation, families getting long-term tools, and wealth starting from birth, not from struggle. And, I got to say, Julio, I mean, it's starting to look good. I mean, I know I sound like a forever Trumper, and I am, but stuff like this is what motivates, you know what I mean? And so, what do you think?
Man, this is like Trump is a genius. I mean, if you really look at the implications further down the road, I mean, like from 2025 to 2028, that means Donald Trump, with his idea, is injecting $6.25 billion to the stock market, to the stock market. I mean, he pulling money in.
Yeah.
That will be a huge for the stock market. It is huge investment. Plus, not even a huge investment in the short term, but look at down the road, like 15 to 18 years investment growth.
Dude, and
That is
imagine
insane,
what we were just talking off camera. What did you say? I'm gonna put money to my kids' deal. So how many families are gonna do that? Like you're
right?
setting your family, your children to success. And like me, I'm just gonna be out there and save my business. I was not a good educational child. I wasn't doing good in school. So like having this funds and being the mindset that I have now, this would have been huge to help me either start my business or, and that's what the lovely thing is, that they can do anything with this money once they hit 18. It's not.
So it's crazy. It doesn't matter if you put $25 a month after it starts. If you put 25, 50, $100 every month, in addition to the 250 or $1,000 already put in the system, you are contributing not only to your child, but you're contributing to the country to
Yeah.
develop more money in circulation, more buying power for the country. But in the long term, you're gonna get the benefits. I mean, but at the same token, we have to look at, are we going to get tax break every year for the capital gains tax earned on those? I mean, but I mean, you cannot get the money out, so you're not paying the taxes. But at the long term, do will we have a tax break on it? Because I
And
mean, give it or take. If you make $1 million, let's say at the age 18, you reach out to, you make, let's say, $1 million. Will you have to pay tax, or the tax would be deferred, or the tax would be, minimal? So you can maximize the money that your child has to, go to college, buy the house, start a business. So we have to look at the long term too. But in the short term and the midterm, this is a great idea to boost economy and get this country going. And your child at the long term, your child will be set for success and not for failure.
but you brought a good point, Julio. And see, this is where I hope whenever you see this video, you pay attention to politics, because this isn't politics right now. This is the future of America, American children. Okay, because I know y'all are gonna say, well, what about the illegal and undocumented children? Well, they're not American. I'm sorry. That's just life. Okay, we are born into this country that has happened to be a wealthy family, right? That's just what the perks of being an American. So back to the point is that Democrats, and I could be wrong. I haven't, what I'm about to say is not, I haven't fact checked this, but all these capital tax gain for, for like, if I sell my property, if I keep my property and I pass away and my kids try to sell it and they get these taxes, they're all from Democrats, not from conservatives, not from Republicans. And so what Julio, what you're saying, I agree with you. Like, that could be devastating if the Democrats get in power and they put these capital gain tax on our children's 401k. That has nothing to do with that. That right there will let you know those people are being corrupt, because they're probably sour that this is one, because they're making it into political, and we're bringing this up and making it into political, to so that way the viewers, or the people, the American people, pay attention. We have to pay attention to this, because this can go either good or bad, like real quick, if you're not paying attention. And we have to stay vigilant and diligent to what these politicians are doing, because Donald Trump was not a politician. This is thinking outside of the box of a politician. And politicians are what would I use yesterday? The swamp. They're swamp monsters. So they're gonna try to get the swamp in there somehow, some way, because they got to get money out of it. Because you don't become a Nancy Pelosi when they're being honest. I mean, let's be real. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders should not be a millionaire. Just saying, he's a politician, shouldn't be a millionaire. But I
And,
don't know.
and you're right, and that's absolutely right. But just think of right now, $6.2 billion injected into the economy. How much that money would grow in 18 years? It would be probably $1 trillion number. So putting a tax on $1 trillion for the left, it's kind of like they're already probably salivating on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're probably like, oh my God, we can tax them to oblivion, and we could get at least half of that money back to our pockets. And sadly, that's what the left always like to do. They don't like to work. They like to leash on the on the middle income hard worker people and get the money from the people, because they don't create anything. I don't see any leftists creating anything type of business or kind of like economic platform that people can grow. They just want to ask money, live out of social safety nets. That's what they do. Look, Bernie Sanders never worked a day on his life, but only
Never.
be a politician, and he has 3 houses, probably 2 or 3 cars, and probably millions of dollars on his bank account. But yet he cries oppression, racism, and all the nonsense they left, like they love to talk about. But this right now, Donald Trump is doing is boosting the economy, boosting the next generation to become better prepared, and obviously, adding in addition to that, before I stop talking, remember the implications of AI right now is huge.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will be displaced in the workplace, but Trump is basically putting a huge band-aid to it, and a good remedy, because when you have the money, but you don't have a skills, or you don't have certain uh trades that you can back up or lean into, at least you have the money to start a business, to buy property, to start something. So Donald Trump is thinking, like you were saying, way ahead, before, after his time, to prepare the next generation to become, um, to be set up for success and not for failure, because this is huge. And if you have the money and you have the means to progress or do something with that money, at least he gives you the chance. Whether you flaunt or you succeed, at least you have the opportunity, and you have the money and the financial status to do something with it. And that is huge implications, though, because AI 20 years from now would be probably 10x from today. It would be crazy. So this is a good remedy for it.
And for sure, because it's like, when you think about AI and how it's progressing, um, and a lot of it has to do, like, for example, these, which I know this is another episode that we're gonna do, and I don't want to spoiler, but like, for example, these robots that Elon Musk is making and incorporating this AI. The reason for that is because they want to do what's called, um, what is that called, when they want to make a planet into terraforming Mars into a living habitable place, and they're already sending these rockets. And I know Dave, flat earth Dave, probably is gonna be like, they're not leaving this, but they're making these AIs and these robots so fast because Elon has a time limit if he wants to have these. And again, I'm spoiler, funding for the SpaceX for reaching Mars. So that's why you're noticing that the robot community is kind of speeding that up, like, very quickly. It's not because they want to do this; it's just because they're trying to get these government contracts. Because if they send these rockets to Mars and they're going to send these robots to build, because they're, obviously the gravity is different and whatnot. But anyways, so a lot of these robots are going to be placed in the workforce. Like you just said, AI is going to incorporate, and we're talking about 20 years from now. And you already know, Julio, time flies. We can say 20 years ago, and we're still like, we're not children no more. We're still adults. So what's crazy is that 20 years flies, and before you know it, your kids are going, like, we're still going to have some trades like plumbers and pipe fitters, HVAC, welders, but it's going to be very rare, and those are going to be high trade pays. And for the most part, in high construction, you will have robots. So it's going to be interesting how all this pans out. But I think that if we stay focused with just today and focus what these politicians are running, so we can dictate the future. Because remember, not long ago, look how it was back then when we were under Obama. Things turned to the worse. That's when things went bad. People will say 9/11. Yeah, that was tragic, and it started to make a negative impact on how we view different cultures, right? But we were living good. And it wasn't until basically Obama came in and kind of screwed everything up. So if we're not careful, we can get back into that place. That's all I'm trying to say. But moving on to the next subject, if you're ready for it. But
Let's go.
did
Let's
you
do it.
did you see what happened about the narco boats? Did you see about the bombing?
Yeah, yeah. Now they accusing Pete Hegseth to be a war criminal. I just saw that on the news. I was looking at some YouTube reels and YouTube talking about Donald Trump doing a round table. Nancy was Noam. She was over there
Yeah.
talking about Somalia, and Pete Hegseth was talking about the I think the admiral that took the decision to sink the boat, like a double tap. Remember, we did a video on that, and when they sank like couple boats, and they were talking about sanctioning the U.S. for like war crimes because they didn't know where they're going, and that's not right to sink in boats with cocaine in them. Like, come on. I mean, they
Hmm.
were not heading they were not heading to Brazil. They were heading north, probably to the islands or Puerto Rico or Cuba, but they were heading somewhere, not in Venezuela. They were smuggling cocaine. You could clear see. They were tracking boats since they depart the coast of Venezuela. You got drones. You can see the cocaine, the drugs, the fuel. And if you in open seas, 100 miles, 150 miles in open waters with a boat, with a speedboat with 400 horsepower engines, you're not in the cruise. You about to do something. And
Yeah.
and people complaining about it, like, come on. Trump at least is doing something. I think this is like we were said before. This is the first president in our lifetime that actually taking the war against narcos real seriously. I mean, it's about time to somebody to do something. But it took Donald Trump to do it, and now he's the bad guy. I mean, you cannot even win with the leftists or the media, but he do it anyway because he care about the American people. And kudos for him to do what is right, even though a lot of people complain about it and call him war criminal.
And it's just terrifying, dude, because they didn't bat an eye when Obama was bombing innocent, you know, Sunni Muslims, right?
Yeah,
He
he
never
bombed the
said
head out of Syria and Yemen, and nobody say nothing about it.
nothing, dude, not one thing. In fact, they called him a hero, and here we're bombing criminals, and like you just said right now, who in Venezuela has those expensive motors, dude? The boat, okay, granted, the boat is huge, it's expensive, but you know that on the boats, the motors are what's so expensive. I mean, they're more than a Mercedes, almost. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, and then they want to say, well, they're innocent people that were being, made to do it. No, I'm sorry, no, no, Trinidad Agua. That's gangs are real. And I think this is what Peak had said a few moments ago. Defends the strikes. Let's check it out. Here we go. Mhm.
To work with Christy and Tom and everyone else down there to lock it to zero, operational control of our border. And then it's getting after and going after narco terrorists and designated terrorist organizations in our own hemisphere. As I've said, and I'll say again, we've only just begun striking narco boats and putting narco terrorists at the bottom of the ocean because they've been poisoning the American people. We're stopping the drugs, we're striking the boats, we're defeating narco terrorists, and we're standing.
And you may say one thing, that drugs coming in through the sea by sea are down 91%. And I don't know who the 9% is.
I'm not sure either, sir,
but down 91% by sea.
We've had a bit of a pause because it's hard to find boats to strike right now, which is the entire point, right? Deterrence has to matter, not arrest and hand over and then do it again, the rinse and repeat approach of previous administrations. This is meant to get after that approach. And I will just end by saying, as President Trump always has our back, we always have the back of our commanders who are making decisions in difficult situations, and we do in this case and all these strikes. They're making judgment calls and ensuring that they defend the American people. They've done the right things. We'll keep doing that, and we have their backs, Mr. President.
So, dude, I mean, I'm sorry. I agree with what he just said. He said we're having a hard time finding boats to strike. And that's the point, meaning there shouldn't be boats out there. It's a deterrent. They get the message. And I mean, hey, you know, people paint it out like, oh, here's the boat, boom, he blew him up, and you see people moving, boom, again, right? That's what they're trying to say. But hey, they're criminals. I mean, can you imagine all that drug that's coming in? How it just twisted. The liberals don't know. The libs don't know what to defend anymore, Julio, because they'll defend a drug dealer, right? They'll say, well, they'll release a sexual, essay assaultant or a pedo or whatever, but they'll they will release, you know, they'll keep a drug dealer forever or whatever, right? I don't know how that saying goes, but both are bad. I mean, in my opinion, they should both be in jail. The drug dealer too, and the pedo. They need to be like incarcerated. I mean, the pedo. I think they should do something different. You know, I mean, but we've already expressed that. But as far as the drug dealer, yeah, no, I'm sorry, no, he needs to be incarcerated for a while, for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like these events are going on right now with Donald Trump and Big Hexter hitting hard the narcos and create a not only a deterrence but effective deterrence. It is a twofold result. I mean, you don't have to process all those narcos. You don't have to process the drugs. You don't have to confiscate. You don't have to bring it to the judge. Just drop a missile, destroy the drugs in the process, destroy the narcos, send a message, and it's working. It is working and saving thousands upon thousands of dollars and man hours to do the whole due process. You know what I mean? So if a missile costs $250,000, let's say half a mil per missile, is well worth it. It's well
Yeah,
worth it because we don't have to do in process of criminals. We don't have to process the drugs. We don't have to go to court. We don't have to jail them, feed them, give them medical aid or nothing. Drop a missile. Yes, you spend half a mil, but that's it. You know what I mean? So it is a win-win situation for the Donald Trump administration. We're winning in this war finally, and also there is news that Delta forces are near Mexico and Colombia hitting targets, which is great news.
yes, it is.
Great news. Also, we have word of they ramping up the efforts of moving bombers close to Puerto Rico and F-18 and arrived to Puerto Rico a couple days ago. So they are ready to strike. By the way, I think Trump and Maduro they had a conversation a couple days ago
Yeah.
about Donald Trump told Maduro the only way that you can get away with this is leaving the country. Leave the country with their family and get away. Oh, by the way, if you've seen the pictures of Maduro or the videos lately, he lost some weight. He was fat 3 or 4 months ago. But Trump is rushing up the pressure and putting the pressure on Maduro, and he looked sick to me. He looked like he lost like 20, probably 40 pounds. Because he looked sick, he looked skinny, and that's good because Donald Trump putting that mental and physical pressure on him, and he deserved it.
Dude, the other thing too that you just Maduro, okay, he basically, this is rumored, right? I mean, no one knows about the phone call, but I'm gonna play the clip of Trump's reaction of the when they was asked about the phone call. But the rumor is that he was asked, hey, um, Maduro told Trump, can I will step out. No, I will rerun elections. And Donald Trump said, no, because we already did that. You lost the elections and you didn't step down. He goes, okay. What if I step down, but I control the military? Trump's like, nope. And then he goes, okay. Well, what if I just step away, but I control and I just get it. And Trump's like, no, the only way is for you to turn yourself in. That's it. I mean, he is like, dude, he's cooked. That's all I gotta say. He's Trump ain't playing, and I'm glad he's doing this because it's showing strength and not weakness. But here's the clip.
Mr. President, on Venezuela, can you tell us more about why the airspace above Venezuela should be considered closed?
Because we consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They sent millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, from all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problem.
Does your warning
and drugs.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
The New York Times reported that you had a phone call with Maduro. Did you?
I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes.
And can you tell us a little bit
No,
about
I can't
it?
do that.
Mr. President,
Would you say it went well?
No, I wouldn't say it went well or badly. It was a phone call. Yeah.
you've made so
Can you talk a little bit about the strikes?
I love, I love how he's like, no comment. Yes, I did talk to him. Like that's so funny, dude.
That's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a goat. I mean, he is more determined than his prior administration back in the 2016, 2020. But a lot of stuff that came out, like if you, I mean, we're gonna like step away from that subject a little bit. But if we go back a couple days ago, I don't know if you have seen the news about Donald Trump or was administration finding out emails and communications from the left. Uh, and discovering that they actually tried to cheat on the 2020. Well, they did cheat
Oh
on the
yeah,
2020, and then they tried to do it again in
2024.
2024, and they got caught up on the Dominion deal where they tried to basically they sue everybody who talked about Dominion being they were able to hack Dominion pretty much, but they couldn't prove it to in court because the judges were leaning into the minion people. I guess they were paying for it. I mean, allegedly, but now they discovering all that information that coming out, to be true. They were actually trying to rig the election in 2024, but they couldn't. And I remember we were talking about this lady. I don't know. I don't remember her name, but remember they were trying to release the Kraken, which was the information of like servers and information about Dominion uh, scheme that they have like on the voting machines. And basically they sue her, they sue uh, Steve Bannon, Giuliani, all these people they were sued and they lost in court. And basically they were silenced with massive lawsuit. But now couple years, like a year and a half later, we finding out that they were right on the assumption and allegations of they were trying to rig, the left trying to rig the 2024 election. And I'm not surprised of that because if you look back in 2024, nobody from the left would dare to debate in television. If you remember, they were
Yeah.
like always, they were talking about, oh, we got this in the bag, we're good to go, there's no need to debate. And it happened in Arizona with Carrie Lake. She was on the road
Yeah.
to win, and turned out that
She
she
actually
lost.
won. She
And she
actually
actually,
won.
but she put up a fight of discovering, like mismanagement of ballots and all the meaning stuff. Even though she proved they were, those machines were defective or they were hacked, they still gave it to the other lady, the leftist, and that was insane to me. You know what I mean? All this scheme, like even Dinesh D'Souza put up the 2000 mule
Mules.
and video evidence of people dropping mailing ballots by the hundreds repeatedly, but yet nobody went to jail. Just a few people, like one or two, they couldn't deny it. But that happens in a massive scale. I don't know. I'm not talking a lot, but remember 2020, where the missing truck, U-Haul truck, full of mail-in ballots became missing. Remember that? They traveled
Yep.
like interstate from one state to another. I remember in, I believe in Arizona, there were drops of ballots at 2 o'clock in the morning after the
Yes. Yep.
every, like everything was on tape, and still, and they won the election, but Donald Trump won it, but they somehow steal it from him, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024, and they couldn't because Donald Trump. We find out that Donald Trump actually hit the servers of Dominion in Serbia, and that was right. They were and they were trying to steal those the election from different countries, and it happened hours before the election happened. That was crazy. That was like in a movie type deal. And I'm
Dude,
glad,
you're not lying.
you know, and I'm glad that nothing happened. But if the Trump team wouldn't act on it, bro, Donald Trump would have lost the election again.
Dude, did you know? I'm trying to find it right now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm trying to find out because what you just said right now, I remember an article that just came out, like I want to say last month, but it basically showed they found ballots that were not counted and they were all for Kerry Lake. And it was enough to win the election, bro. And that's
Yeah,
why she
Kelly,
won her case
she won her
recently.
case, and they still giving to the other lady that never debated. She never
Carrie
debated.
Hobbs.
Bro, she's just like, and she was the most incompetent person that I ever seen. And
Yeah, didn't they find something that she did illegal and she's going to court now and she's gonna have to step down?
yeah, yeah, some I think mismanagement of funding or something like that. There is something, always something come up with the left. They cheat the election, and then months later, a year later, they find out they were stealing money. It is like a repeatable modus operandi all the time. Like and it happened with Tim Walz. Like, look, Minnesota right now,
Yeah.
more than $1 billion stolen.
See, look, I'm gonna hold on. I'm getting this is off your news, but it says Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs under investigated for alleged bribery, fraud, and racketeering. This is crazy, dude. Right? I mean, it, let's see if there's another one with. But the thing is, man, she's the worst. She needs to.
Yeah, I mean, like Maricopa County, it was the most corrupt county in Arizona, and now you are seeing Minnesota, and now you see Michigan going through the same thing. You know what I mean? Going
Yeah.
through the same thing. I mean, they're all controlled by the same people, and no wonder why they want to keep all the Somalis in Minnesota. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump sending ICE to
Oh,
Minnesota.
yep. I know.
So now they are panicking because basically the voting base will be dismantled in a couple weeks. So be it. I mean, they should be expelled out of the country, and they should be gone. I mean, there is no need for them to be here, and they think they're safe because they have citizenship. No, they're not safe. That could be revoked, voted no, and gone.
And it's kind of like what you and Lou Valentino were speaking about yesterday about the Somalians and all these people that are, that they're going to start deporting. I guess once we start seeing that, I hope that brings confidence a little bit to people that like agree with Lou that, man, really they're not really doing enough. And I just, I mean, I know it sounds bad, but for the people that, and I'm saying this for the people that agree that they shouldn't lose their citizens or their, what are they called, their asylum, but really they're not, because they're here for a purpose, and it clearly shows by what Ilhan Omar said has been caught saying. And people can translate what you're saying, and what she's saying is that she's first for Somalia. Once she gets America where she needs to go, she's going back to her country. That's what she got caught saying that. And so yeah, does need to go. I'm excited that ICE is doing what they're doing. And you know it's crazy how we went from 9/11 saying we would never forget, and we elected a president that is Muslim just to virtue signal. That's really what happened, to say that we were able to see past through that, right? Which was a virtuous thing, right? But then he went and gave our country up to the wrong people, and we basically allowed it. One, because some of us didn't care enough, and here comes Trump. Whether you hate him or like him, he made you care enough to be in politics now. And so the country is moving right now, I think, with Donald Trump, in the right direction for the American citizens, not for everyone. For the American citizens, let's make that clear, right? And but real quick, speaking about growth, you know, we've got some news here at the X-Ray Podcast. Now coming to you twice a week, every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And starting the new year, we're adding more guests. We're gonna try to keep, more voices, more fire. And these guest episodes will probably happen between Monday and Friday. So stay tuned, plug in, and get ready for 2026, because it's gonna be wild. But we're just, I know we've been in and out, and people probably, because they DM us, and people, some say like, I never know when you guys come. You guys don't come, you guys do come. And really, honestly, we've been going through some things, but we're getting, just like everyone, we're pushing through it. And we're trying to, at the same time, we are trying to stay away from just being just a political channel. We want to be talking about conspiracy theories and all types of craziness, but somehow, some way, we get warped into political, because honestly, it's hard not to, though. There's so much that goes on, right, Julio? I mean,
Yeah,
there's just so much.
yeah, it is
Um,
crazy. In the last couple of weeks, it's been insane. It's been a mag dump of like stealing money, immigrants, illegal immigrants stealing stuff, and now we have Trump attacking, or probably soon to be invading Venezuela, and just dethroning and removing Maduro, and probably Colombian narcos too. They're all involved in that. So it's a lot of stuff going on. And now the good news today, at least you give me the good news about Dell's putting that money where the mouth is. Not only donating but injecting the economy with $6.2 billion, which is huge, and that's the good news for the week. Hopefully, we are able to see more of that, more companies jumping on the bandwagon and getting not only tax break but also helping the future generation and set them up for success. But man, I'm happy. I'm stoked to be here and to come in with new guests. Hopefully, at the end of the week, we have Wise and couple more guests. And people, seems to like those type of uh, interactions. So stay tuned, because it's gonna get better in 2026.
and I will say that, dude, I love the dynamic that JJ Carroll and Lou had. And then I kind of liked how certain things me and Adam Francisco agreed with, and JJ Carroll, and it's good, healthy, I think it's good to see this, that within, I guess you want to call us the MAGA movement or the right conservative, we can disagree and still have like a blast, but for most part, I think we all have the same thing in common, the best for our country, America. And this is not a white country. This is not a black country, a Hispanic country. This is a country for everybody. And but of course, legal immigration is what we are talking about. Is what our founding fathers, I'm sure, were really talking about that. And we were talking about that with J.J. Carroll. How they knew Islam existed back then. So this didn't become an Islamic foundation country. It was a Christian foundation. People want to say Judeo-Christian, but it's just Christian, but yes, and again, we like to talk about like the bogosphere. There's been some updates on that, and which is really crazy. And I'd like to share. Maybe sometime we'll figure it out, and I'll see if we'll reach out to Jaime. I'm gonna see if we can get him in here. Let us at least dissect a little bit about that bogosphere. Sure.
Yeah, that would be a great interview if Jaime Maussan jump in the
Yep.
conversation. Obviously, it will be probably in Spanish, but it will be pre-recorded, and we will have a multi-language for you guys to watch it in your language of preference, so you can enjoy the entire conversation. I'm about to do another interview with Jorge Martin, another ufologist from Puerto Rico. We are in the talks right now. Hopefully, we get it done either next week or the week after next. That would be a great interview. Uh, so we have a lot of stuff going on, and the next year, 2026, we're gonna have the midterm elections. So we
Yes,
most likely will be covering that
for sure.
live on the election day. So stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff going on for 2026. Seems to be very promising in all fronts. It's gonna be crazy.
And we got Nick Tran running from District 8, baby. Woo! Nick
Yeah,
Tran. But you know
yeah, he
what?
did it official.
I'm gonna get some of his merch because
Oh
here
yeah,
in the X-Ray podcast, we support everything Nick Tran says. This guy's a real American hero. I invite you guys to check our website, X-Ray podcast.com. Yeah, in fact, you know what? Let me pull it up real quick.
yeah.
But a little bit, tell them a little bit about Nick Tran. How, how did you get him into the mix, or how did you meet him? Just curious.
Yeah, I just saw a news. I believe was a post on Facebook, and I DM him. He replied back like in not even 24 hours, and I invited to the podcast. He was very excited to do it. We did a great episode in our podcast. You can find it in our website, and we kind of like kick it from there. You know what I mean? We just started hanging out. We did a couple videos. He invited me to his events. So we basically like hanging out like every other weekend. We just meet each other. We talk about stuff. So it was great guy. He's a great guy to meet and very American with a great story. So that's our website. You can buy merch. You can see videos. I need to put more videos in it. I haven't posted videos, but there you have it. You can contact us and you can suggest videos or episodes, and there you have it. I had to add more videos, but it is simple, to the point, and very easy to navigate. So order your merch. We got some shirts. I need to update the shirts, but we got more shirts to come. And basically, that's the story, man. Just go and get some merch.
And I invite everybody. So you click any of these pictures, and it'll take you straight to watch the videos. This will take you to, when we had the interview with Alex Rosen, which is something we're going to work on. Congratulations to Alec Rosen. I think he's engaged. And then here goes JJ Carroll, Lou Valentino, and uh, Kawa Malay. We need to get him back because I need to let him know that he actually changed my view on the topic of the Israelites, of what we
Mhm.
think they are today, which I went into a wormhole. And I know people are like, yesterday we were talking about anti-Semitic, and it's not anti-Semitic to tell the truth. I'm not saying that these are horrible people. I don't hate these people. I think these people are just regular people like everyone else, and they are important people, and they do have the right to defend themselves, and they do have the right to have their land. But what I will say is, let's get this started with the conversation. The Star of David, which I know this is going to go somewhere else, but the Star of David. I invite everybody. Where did that Star of David come from?
Mm.
And I'm gonna leave you with that, because that's a rabbit hole that you're gonna find out, and then ask what the Star of Melech looks like, and you'll be surprised. I went through that rabbit hole, and it's crazy. And but anyways, yeah, this is our website, and um, you give us a check, and let us know. Give us a chat. Let us know what you think. What kind of content you think you would like to hear from our point of view, or if you don't like us or don't disagree, let us know. I mean, heck, we are all inclusive. And we will invite everyone and anyone that wants to either debate with us, or I don't have to be an echo chamber, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you agree with that, Julio?
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we close it out, just don't forget to like and subscribe, join the channel. If you're not a member yet, please, I highly appreciate if you become
Give
one
us a like.
and support. Keep the lights, uh, keep the light on this channel. We're doing our best to bring you the best, the latest, and the best commentators there is in the YouTube space, in social media, which is huge. We have great voices before, and we're about to have probably new ones coming up in in our page soon. So there is a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully, we have uh, our brother Wise from Rachel's perspective probably Friday. I need to talk to him again, but we bring in good voices and we have like very very great conversations. So tune in. Don't forget Tuesdays and Thursdays are regular broadcasts, and Mondays and Fridays will be invited guests. So stay tuned. It's gonna be great. 2026. I cannot believe 2025 just kind of flew by. You know what I mean? It seems like
Yeah,
yesterday we started 2025. Now we are in the last month of the year, which is nuts. So I can't believe it's
yeah,
almost over. But that's a huge gap.
yeah. This guy, his name is Luffy. Everybody say hi to Loof. He's my floof. Yeah, he's huge. Look at how big this guy is. He's
Man.
a Turkish man, and he's fattened up for the apocalypse. If you know what that
Oh
means. No,
my
I'm just
God.
playing.
The eating cats and dogs.
They're eating cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're not from Haiti,
No,
so
we're
don't
not.
worry.
So, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Robert, thank you to putting the show
Yes.
together. Thank you so much. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the channel, and I can see you guys on the next one. Goodbye. See you later, Robert.